Good afternoon, friends. Thank you for joining me today in this beautiful snowy day in New Mexico. Bright, beautiful blue skies with blinding white snow behind me. Not sure if this is a good idea or a bad idea. Definitely need some shades. But we're going to do a nice slow flow, similar to a couple of weeks ago, the session that we did in the Salt Cave. Apparently people didn't really care for the silhouette yoga. So we'll do it where it's nice and bright and we can see. So we're going to do a nice floor flow. Just relaxing here, feeling into our bodies and building a little bit of strength, opening up the heart, opening up the hips and the hip flexors. Definitely feeling some relief in our lower backs today in this practice. So let's go ahead and get started. Just sitting here in easy seated position, Sukhasana. Let's close down our eyes. Hands can be in our laps. The sun feels good on my face. The cool breeze is cold. My toes are cold. Feeling into the sensations. Long, deep breaths in. Noticing if the spine, I was kind of rounding in the shoulders. I've been hiding my heart a lot. Oh, the holidays. So, lengthening up that spine, shining that heart forward. Long, deep breath, in and out. Setting our intention for our practice today. Meeting ourselves where we're at today, not forcing anything, just meeting ourselves where we're at on the mat. Sitting here in easy seated position. Let's go ahead and inhale. Let's reach the fingers up to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Bringing the hands to the knees. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. And we're going to come into Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet touching, knees falling away from the body here. Pushing the sit bones into the mat, lengthening up the spine. And exhale, we're going to fold, folding at the hips, leading with the heart. Until we find that edge where you can get a nice stretch. Not asking for everybody to fold in. You might have flexibility where you can fold all the way in. We're just taking a nice QL stretch here. We're going to tent the fingertips out in front of us as far as we can, and then we're going to tuck the chin to the chest, rounding in the back here, and I'm sure you can feel your QL muscles here. We're going to start to sway back and forth, nice and slow. Feeling that stretch. Big inhale here as we walk the hands back towards center. And we're going to bend that left knee and extend the right leg out. Flexing the toes up towards the sky. Take a nice side body stretch, bringing the elbow to the knee. And actually, let's not bring the elbow to the knee. Let's go ahead and grab that right ankle with the right hand. And let's rainbow over this left arm. Slightly spiraling the heart up towards the sky, reaching with the left pinky over towards the opposite side of the room. You're in a room. If you'd like, you can also take your hand back behind your back and take a bind here by grabbing that right thigh if you can. Whatever in your practice. Big inhale as we come back to center. And then exhale, we're going to now bring the heart towards the knee, or actually bring the heart towards this right toe, reaching that left arm out. Inhale, coming back to center. Let's do the other side. Lengthening out the left leg, grabbing the left ankle, and let's rainbow over this right arm, reaching with that right pinky to the opposite side. Ooh, feel that big stretch. And again, if you'd like, and if you are capable, to bring that hand behind the back and take a bind. Inhale as we come back to center, and exhale as we bring the heart towards those left toes. Big inhale here as we come back up. We're going to lengthen out the right leg, bend in the left knee, and this time we're going to take stargazer pose. So let's go ahead and plant that left hand back behind you. Plant the left knee down, the left hand, and inhale as we lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Heart reaches up towards this beautiful blue sky. Fingertips reach back behind you. And then big exhale, let's take a seat down. Switching sides, stargazer. On the other side, planting the right hand back behind you, plant the right knee into the ground, and inhale, lift those hips up towards the sky. Oh, the sun feels good on my face. So beautiful. Exhale, sink those hips down. Ooh, crossing the ankles now. We're going to meet at the top of the mat in tabletop. Now let's go ahead and just wiggle around organically, getting some movement in the spine. Feeling that. Finding ourselves in tabletop, shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees here. And with a big inhale, we're going to send those sit bones up towards the sky as the belly reaches down, heart opens. Exhale as we tuck the pelvic bowl towards the belly button, rounding in the back, chin to chest. Push the ground away. Inhale, sending those sit bones up towards the sky. Again, you can bend your elbows if you'd like. Draw the shoulder blades together. Pull that heart through and gaze up. Exhale, starting at the base of the spine, tuck in that pelvic bowl. Push the ground away, cat pose. Inhale, let's do this one more time. Sit bones up. And exhale. Inhale back to a neutral spine. We're going to take puppy pose here, so walking those hands up quite a bit, almost to the edge of the mat. Oh, and then lowering the heart down, keeping the hips over the knees. Heart and chin come down to the mat, or bringing the forehead down. Big inhale here as we push those hands into the mat. Slowly lift the heart up and walk those hands back underneath the shoulders. And again, give yourself a nice little wiggle here. We're going to inhale as we pull back with the right arm, pulling back on a bow and arrow and reaching those right fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, we're going to thread that needle through. Inhale as we push the ground away and we pull back up, pulling back on that bow and arrow and reach the fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, we're going to plant that right hand down underneath the shoulders. Big inhale here as we lift this left leg, lift this left knee, and lengthen out the left leg right to the side of you. Toes are pointing forward. Foot is flat down on the ground. And again, we're going to pull back on the bow and arrow, getting a bigger stretch on the adductors. Big inhale here, pull back on that bow and arrow and reach the fingertips up to the sky. And exhale here, thread that needle through. And let's take not a seat in, but let's settle in, bringing the cheek and the shoulder down to the mat. Feeling the warm sun on the back of my legs. Feels so yummy. Big inhale, press that left hand into the mat. Pull back on that bow and arrow and reach the right fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, let's plant that right hand down underneath. And give yourself a nice little wiggle. You know what? I want to rock back and forth too. Beautiful rock back and forth. Inhale as we come back into a neutral spine, and let's go ahead and lift up that left foot and place that knee right underneath the hip. Big inhale here as we pull back with the bow and arrow with the left hand and reach the left fingertips up to the sky. Exhale, thread that needle through. Inhale as you push the ground away and pull back with the bow and arrow with the left hand and reach the fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, plant that left hand down. Inhale as you lift the right knee and you lengthen out that right foot to the side of you, planting the foot down, toes pointing forward. And inhale again as we pull back on the bow and arrow with the left fingertips, feeling the difference in each side. I'm tighter on this side. And then big exhale. Thread that needle through. Now let's just take a settle in here. Big inhale, let's push the ground away. Pull back with a bow and arrow and reach those fingertips up to the sky. And then big exhale, plant that left hand underneath the shoulder. Lift this left leg and bring it back underneath those hips. All right, let's uncross those toes, or untuck those toes, and let's take a seat on the heels. Bring the hands to heart center here. Noticing in your toes, my toes don't stay close next to each other. They're always overlapping. Try to keep them close to each other and not have them overlap. Hands to heart center here. All right, big inhale as we come forward again in tabletop. And this time, we're going to lift up this right knee and we're going to step it back behind you, tucking those feet. So keep your toes tucked here. I'm going to move up a little bit because I'm in the snow. All right, from tabletop and then lengthening out the leg, keeping the back toes tucked. But we're just going to rock back and forward. Feeling the stretch in the calves here. Feeling into your body. Big inhale as we come forward, and we're going to lift those right toes, and then we're going to step them off to the left side of the mat, keeping the toes tucked, and then we're going to gaze over this left shoulder. Getting a nice side body stretch here. Once you feel into the stretch, if you'd like, you can walk your hands over to the left as well. Feeling that stretch. Walking the hands back to the center of the mat. Lifting up that right foot and replace that knee under the hip. And again, wiggle around. Inhale here as we lengthen out this left leg back behind us. Tuck those toes and let's stretch out that calf, pushing the hands into the mat. That feels really nice. And rocking back and forth. Feeling into your body here. Inhale as we come forward, and we're going to lift up the left toes and we're going to step them to the right side of the mat. Off to the right side and gaze over that right shoulder. This feels so good in the SI joint. Nice long breaths here. And then if you want, again, you can walk the hands over towards the right, creating more of a side body arc. Bringing the hands back underneath the shoulders. And inhale as you lift those left toes and place that knee underneath your hips. Inhale here as we lengthen out right behind us, bringing the toes back out behind us. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Hips are square. And then exhale here. We're going to bring the knee to the nose. Inhale as we lengthen back out. Reach those toes out. And then exhale. We're going to bring the knee towards the right elbow. Inhale, lengthen back out here. And then exhale, bring the knee towards the left elbow. Inhale here as we lengthen back out, lengthen, lengthen. And then big exhale here. We're going to step that left foot on the outside. Outside of the left hand. We're going to find ourselves in lizard, but we're going to do it nice and slow. Walking the hands up. And then when you square up your hips, sinking the hips down here. Shoulders stay underneath, or I should say wrists should stay underneath the shoulders here to start. When you find your pose, sinking those hips down, opening up the hip flexors, then you can allow yourself to let that right knee fall away from the body, coming up on the right pinky edge of your toes here. And then you can even come down to the forearms in your stretch here. That toe can be tucked or untucked depending on where you're feeling it on your knee. It's nice and cushiony here in the snow. Big inhale as we push those hands into the mat. Replace the hands underneath the shoulders here. And we're just going to slowly turn the body towards the left and sink the hip down. We can walk this right foot down to the side of the mat, getting a nice, again, side body stretch. A lot of lateral stretches in this practice today. Opening up the hips. Feeling the stretch. Let's go ahead and bend this bottom knee. And let's place the right knee over the left like a little arrow here. If you can't do the arrow, lengthen out the left leg. Bending in the left knee if you can. Sink those sit bones into the ground. Inhale as we reach the arms up towards the sky. And this time we're going to bend the left arm. Hands in between the shoulder blade. We're going to bend the right elbow and bring it back behind us, coming into Gomukhasana here. Heart's coming forward. If you have a strap, you can use a strap. If you don't have a strap, like I don't here, the hack here is to energetically pull the fingers towards each other and bring the shoulders away. So try not to round in the back. Open up in the heart here. And big exhale as we release the hands down. Uncrossing the legs. And let's come into a reverse table. Shoulders are still over the wrists here. Fingers are facing forward. Feet are going to be hips distance apart. And with a big inhale, we're going to inhale and push the heels up into the mat as we lift the hips up towards the sky. Oh, I got a nice shoulder pop here. Beautiful. And big exhale as we sink those hips down. Walking those knees in towards you. Let's give ourselves a little hug. Pushing the tummy to the tops of the thighs, lengthening the spine. And then exhale here. Let's meet at the top of the mat in tabletop. And do the other side. Shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees, and inhale as we lift that left leg up. Reach those left toes back behind you. And then big exhale, knee to nose. Rounding in. Inhale, lengthen that left leg back out. Lift, lift, lift those toes. And then exhale, knee to left elbow. Inhale as you lengthen those toes back behind you. Hips are square. And exhale, left knee to right elbow. Inhale, let's lengthen back out, lengthen, lengthen, and then big exhale as we take a big step. Left foot on the outside of the left hand. Finding your lizard, squaring up those hips, and then sinking those hips down, keeping that left knee glued to the shoulder to start. Woo. And then when you find your stretch, let's go ahead and allow the left knee to fall away from the body, coming down to our elbows here, if you'd like, or forearms, I should say. Keeping it fluid if you'd like, and moving back and forth, wiggling around. Big inhale here as we push the ground away. Hands come underneath the shoulders again. And then we're going to sink the hips over towards the right. Sinking the hips down and getting this nice side body stretch here. Feeling the stretch. Woo, you can walk that left foot midway up the mat here and reach the left fingertips out beside you. Next exhale, we're going to bend this right knee. Left knee comes on top. Knees are in like a little arrow in front of you. Plant the sit bones down into the mat. Right arm up comes up towards the sky. Bend in those elbows. Hand in between the shoulder blades. Left hand bend, coming down below. And see if you can grab the fingers here. One side I can grab, the other side I can't. Heart comes forward, shoulders down and back. Elbows drawing away from the body, so like back behind you. Feeling the stretch, crown of the head reaching up towards the sky, and breathe. Next exhale here, we're going to release those hands, uncross the legs, and we're going to meet. And we're going to come into, sitting here, we're going to come into our reverse table again. Shoulders over the wrists, and then on a big inhale, we're going to push those heels into the mat, lifting the hips up towards the ceiling. Push the ground away. Gazes up towards the sky. And then exhale, take a seat. Back down. Crossing the ankles here. Taking a seat on the heels here. We're going to move to one side or the other, and we're going to slow it down. Nice, slow practice today. Coming down to our backs. Hugging the knees into the chest here. Forehead can come to the knees if you'd like, or you can leave the back of the neck nice and long. Sun feels good on my face. Releasing the knees here. Planting those feet down. We're going to do rolling bridge, but we're going to use our arms here in our rolling bridge. Let me see if I can get my head to come down here without disturbing my clip. Feet are hips distance apart here. Knees are up to the sky. We're going to inhale and we're going to lift the hips up and bring hands overhead. The big inhale here is you push the heels into the mat, reaching the arms up towards the sky, hands overhead. And then exhale, sinking back down. Inhale, push those heels into the mat, lifting the hips up towards the sky, hands, feet above the head. And then exhale, back down. Inhale here as we come up into our rolling bridge. Hips are lifted up, and this time we're going to plant that left foot into the mat and lift the right toes up to the sky. Next exhale here, we're going to take that right ankle and place it on top of that left knee and slowly lower those hips down to the mat. Taking supine pigeon here, we're going to reach in between, grabbing behind the left thigh or in front of that left knee and draw the left knee towards the heart. We're going to take an active pigeon here. So what we're going to do in our active pigeon, we're going to take this right elbow and push it into this right leg. So push it into the right leg. And then we're going to glue the sacrum down to the mat. So glue that sacrum and then draw that left knee towards the chest. Feel that piriformis. Hello, piriformis. Next exhale here, let's go ahead and release that left knee. We're going to take this right leg and cross it over the left knee. So right knee over left. Big inhale here. You can tee out your arms here. You can Y out your arms. But on an inhale, you're going to press this left heel into the mat, lifting the hips off the ground. And then we're going to move the hips over towards the right, just about an inch. And then allow those knees to rock over towards the left. Squeezing over this right shoulder here. Hello. And a nice supine twist. Big inhale as we come back to center. And crossing those knees. And let's do the other side. Okay, this is not working with this clippy. There we go. Coming into our rolling bridge again. Inhale as you lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Hands come above the head. And exhale, sink those hips down. Inhale, pushing those hips into the ground. Pushing those heels up towards the ceiling, pushing the feet into the ground. Arms above the head. And exhale, sink down. Inhale, push those heels into the mat. Lift those hips up. Hands come up. Oh, and then on your next inhale, we're going to lengthen out the left toes up to the sky. Point those toes up to the sky. And then big exhale as we take that left ankle and place it on top of that right knee and sink those hips down. Finding our supine pigeon here, we're going to reach through and grab where we can, drawing that right knee in towards the heart. Flexing this left foot. And then taking our active pigeon here as we push our left elbow into that knee. Glue the sacrum down and then pull that right ankle, or I should say right knee, left ankle towards the heart. Piriformis is awake. And next exhale here, release that right knee. And then we're going to cross the left knee over the right knee. Inhale as we lift the hips up off the ground. Scooch them over towards the left about an inch. And then allow those knees come on over towards the right side. Gazing over that left shoulder. Wying out the arms. Cactusing the arms. Teeing out the arms. Whatever feels good to you. A nice, super sweet, slow flow this morning. Afternoon. Big inhale as we bring those knees back towards center. Uncrossing the knees here. Arms are going to come alongside the body and we're going to lengthen out our legs coming into our Shavasana. Allow your feet to fall naturally apart. Draw your shoulder blades together to create a cradle for your heart. Palms up to the sky. Eyes are closed or heavy. Melting into the ground. And relaxing in the face. And let's find stillness here for a few minutes. Let's start to bring some awareness back to the body. Start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Allow the movement to grow up the body. Keeping the eyes heavier closed, let's bend our knees up to the sky, and let's roll over to one side, coming into a fetal just for a moment. Using the top hand, let's push it into the ground. And let's slowly return to an easy, seated, cross-legged pose, Sukhasana. Bringing the hands together at heart center here. Thanking yourself for showing up today. Getting some much needed hip relief, hip opening. Fluttering open the eyes here. And thank you. Thank you for joining me this week on this beautiful day in New Mexico. I'll see you guys next week. I've left some information below if you'd like to join me in Albuquerque and practice with me at the Salt Cave of Albuquerque. It'd be beautiful. I'd love to see you guys there. And if you like my video, please hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I'll see you guys next week.